Tonight on SportsCenter, we're breaking down a crucial update out of New York, and it's one that could have a significant ripple effect on the Knicks roster. It involves trade talks, rotation decisions, and what it could mean for the team's long-term strategy. And yes, this one centers around a name that's been buzzing in league circles, Jonathan Kuminga. As reported this evening, the Knicks have quietly explored avenues to add a young forward who can bring two-way impact and versatility to Mike Brown's system. And what's surprising, most fans probably haven't realized just how close Kuminga is to being a realistic target. He's still on his rookie contract, which makes him financially attainable, but his role with Golden State has been in flux. That uncertainty has opened the door for New York to pounce. Let's talk about Kuminga for a second. On one hand, he's shown flashes of brilliance, elite athleticism, the ability to guard multiple positions, and a scoring package that continues to expand year by year. But on the other side, there are still questions about consistency and whether he's ready to be a nightly starter on a playoff team. Those concerns have made the Warriors cautious, and it's why his name has surfaced in trade chatter. Now, here's where the story really starts to shift. According to what was detailed tonight on SportsCenter, there's growing belief inside the Knicks organization that adding Kuminga could solve multiple roster concerns at once. His rookie-scale contract is affordable under the new CBA, which matters a lot as New York edges closer to the second apron after the recent Bridges extension and the additions of Clarkson and Yabusele. The second apron isn't just about spending. It restricts how teams can trade, sign, and structure deals. And the Knicks are towing that line. That's why a player like Kuminga is so valuable. He gives them high-level production without the financial strain of another max or near-max contract. What was made clear tonight is that Kuminga represents a unique opportunity, a young, controllable piece who can grow with the Knicks core. He's not a short-term rental. He's someone who could be part of the long-term vision. And with the front office determined to keep the main unit intact, adding a player like Kuminga on a team-friendly deal could be the perfect way to strengthen the rotation without blowing up the cap sheet. Empire Sports Media reported that New York has already had internal discussions about targeting Kuminga if the Warriors make him available. Think about that. One team's indecision about a young star could become another team's breakthrough addition. The Knicks, who have been balancing win-now moves with sustainable growth, see Kuminga as the type of player who checks both boxes. So what's the alternative? Standing pat, relying solely on young players already in the system like Ariel Hukporti or Mohamed Diarra. But let's be honest, while those guys might develop into solid contributors, Kuminga is already further along. He's proven he can play rotation minutes in the playoffs, he can defend wings and forwards, and he can finish in transition at an elite level. From a front office standpoint, that's exactly the kind of upside worth gambling on. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The Knicks still need more wing depth. Injuries, load management, and the grind of the regular season mean that Brown will need options. Kuminga isn't just a safety net. He's a potential difference maker. Now, let's circle back. Mikal Bridges has been extended. Karl Anthony Towns, if he even arrives, likely won't get one anytime soon. And as for Jonathan Kuminga, the Knicks are watching closely. They'll monitor his situation in Golden State, stay patient, and if the opportunity arises, they're prepared to make a move. It's a wait-and-see situation, but one with enormous upside if Kuminga becomes available. But it also protects the team. If Golden State decides to hold on to Kuminga, the Knicks haven't lost flexibility, and if the Warriors finally put him on the trade block, New York is positioned to strike. It's a smart strategy from a roster-building perspective, especially as the Knicks navigate an era where every dollar and every move matters under the second apron. At the end of the day, this team is a contender. They are right there, on the brink of something big. But to truly reach the top, every roster spot, every acquisition, every decision has to be measured, strategic, and flexible. And that's what this all comes down to. Can the Knicks pull off a move for Kuminga without jeopardizing the financial and roster stability they've worked so hard to build? Picking up where we left off on SportsCenter, there's another layer to this Kuminga situation and the Knicks' long-term planning that needs to be addressed. When you're operating this close to title contention, when you have a roster capable of competing at the highest level, you're not just limited in what moves you can make, you're limited in the margin for error. Because here's the truth, when you're chasing a championship, it only takes one bad trade, one overpaid contract, or one miscalculated risk to derail everything. All the work you've done to build something special can vanish instantly. That's why there's no room for panic moves, no rushing into the wrong player. And when the right move presents itself, like it did with Mikal Bridges, you act decisively. Let's revisit that for a moment. The Bridges extension was a masterstroke. New York locked him up for 4 years at a number below his maximum, an incredible value when you consider what he brings on both ends of the court. It wasn't just about keeping a key piece, it was about managing the book, avoiding the dreaded second apron, and preserving enough flexibility to keep chasing the right complementary players, like Kuminga. It mirrors exactly what happened with Jalen Brunson not long ago. He took less than his market value to stay in New York and help build something sustainable. Now, Bridges has followed that same playbook. And sources close to the team told SportsCenter tonight that this is becoming a trend. Star players are buying into the bigger vision. And credit where it's due, Leon Rose and the front office deserve massive praise. They're not just stockpiling names, they're strategically creating an environment where high-level players commit long-term, while still leaving room for upside plays like Kuminga. It's the balance between proven stars and emerging talent, all in the name of one goal: multiple championships. That's the model. That's how contenders are built and maintained under the current CBA. And the Knicks? They've bought in fully. Which brings us to what oddsmakers are saying. FanDuel released updated title odds for the 2025-2026 NBA season. And guess who made the top of the list? Oklahoma City comes in first at plus 230, followed by the Cavaliers at plus 750. But here's the key part. The New York Knicks are right there, tied at plus 1850, with Denver and Houston. That's elite company. And what that tells us is that Vegas sees the Knicks as a legitimate threat. Let's put that into perspective. When bookmakers are listing you in the top 3 or 4, it means your roster, depth, coaching, and financial position are all being recognized as elite. That doesn't happen by accident. Now let's circle back to a key discussion that was brought up on SportsCenter earlier in the offseason. There had been whispers that the Knicks were keeping the door open for a blockbuster trade involving Giannis Antetokounmpo. But with Bridges now officially signed to a 4-year deal, that window is likely closed, at least for now. Why? Because under league rules, Bridges can't be traded for the next 6 months. And many insiders believe that if a deal for Giannis was to be made, Bridges would have been a centerpiece. With him now locked in and off-limits for trade, it strongly suggests the Knicks are pivoting away from a superstar swing and, instead, looking toward younger, attainable players like Kuminga, who can grow with the current core. This doesn't mean the Knicks are standing pat. According to tonight's report, they're shifting focus to exploring creative trades and smart, short-term contracts that maintain depth, all while keeping the door open for a player like Kuminga if Golden State finally decides to move him. They've shown discipline in a market where mistakes are easy to make, and that patience is setting them up for long-term success. It's not just about reacting to headlines or rushing into short-term fixes. It's about laying the groundwork for a team that can sustain winning seasons. And as this chapter closes, the overarching theme is undeniable. The Knicks are building with intention. They've secured the right core pieces, avoided financial traps, and preserved the kind of roster balance that allows them to compete now while staying prepared for what comes next. That'll wrap things up for tonight's coverage on SportsCenter. Knicks fans have every reason to be optimistic. The foundation is strong, the vision is clear, and the path forward has been carefully mapped out. Whether it's navigating Robinson's role, maximizing Bridges' presence, or keeping the door open for the next big move, New York is signaling one thing loud and clear. This team is serious about the pursuit of a championship. Stay locked in, because the front office isn't slowing down. The next move could be right around the corner.